Hey yo, what's up? It's your boy DeMarco, CEO of Trap Spelling Bee. Check this out. I'm here in Plano, Texas, about to interview a good friend of mine, Tiffany Lenox. Tiffany is a staple in the Oklahoma City community, owning the only multicultural skincare clinic in Oklahoma. She has recently expanded her brand and business to Plano, Texas, where she opened up her latest facility, and she was kind enough to take some time out of her busy schedule to sit down and give me an interview to talk about business, life, and some of the things that help her become successful. So I want y'all to stay tuned and check out the interview and keep it locked. Peace. Hey yo, what's up y'all? This your boy DeMarco, CEO of Trap Spelling Bee. Check this out. I'm here with Tiffany Lenox, owner of Lenox Skincare. We're in Plano, Texas, y'all. Now I met Tiffany many years ago when you owned the Ice Salon Spa. Yeah. And I did some designing for you, did some marketing, and then we just formed a friendship, and I have watched you go on to do some amazing things. So without further ado, y'all, like to introduce y'all to Tiffany Lenox. What's up, Tiffany?
Hello.
How you doing today? How you feeling?
I'm good.
So we, we started in Nichols Hills when I met you at the Salon Spa. Now we're in Plano, Texas, celebrating the grand opening of your new location. How do it feel to, expand your business to the south, even more south, to Texas?
It feels good to be able to expand the brand into a larger market. I think in Oklahoma, we've kind of spread our wings there, but I think we already had clients in the area, so it only made sense but to expand it to a bigger market.
And when I first walked in, I was looking like, man, like this is amazing. So like to be able to capture the vision that you have created in Oklahoma and bring that to Texas, and there's no drop off. And we all know that, trying to open a business is hard within itself, let alone open another a business in another state. So, how has it been, transitioning from having many kind of skincare clinics in Oklahoma City? Because I know you had multiple facilities that, you kind of tried different locations with, and now you're saying, okay, I'm going to take it on the road and take it to Texas. How has the transition been?
The transition's been, of course, it's difficult. I'm still learning. At first when I thought about it, I was like, oh, I've done this before. But really going into a different market like this, you dealing with different laws, rules, county, city. And so in the early stages of it, I had some setbacks. So it kind of caused us, we were originally supposed to open in January.
Okay.
So from there was some new laws with like electrical, and we had to rewire this brand new building. So that was not in the budget, but it's been a learning process. But having the multiple locations in Oklahoma, if everybody don't know, I did close the South location, but after 2 years of looking at the numbers, it just all made sense.
Absolutely.
I mean, so I basically took that location and moved it here. So
absolutely. One thing I have noticed with you in business, you're not scared to, try new things or take risks that most business owners and entrepreneurs wouldn't be willing to take. What gives you that motivation to say, hey, I'll test a location that, an underserved community that may not have a lot of information about skincare, and I'll come into their market, see if I can, develop it. And if you can't, you have no problem with, pivoting.
Yeah.
Is the word that I heard you use in the past, and doing other things. So for you to open up many, because you had a few locations. I remember the South location, and then you had a few around the Oklahoma City metro area. But I know being in Texas brings a lot more challenges because it's a much bigger market. So as you kind of continue to expand, but you're growing in a new market, what's some of the things you have learned about the Texas market opposed to the Oklahoma market when it comes to skincare?
Well, there is a big difference. I'm in a market where multicultural is a true meaning here. So you have a large diverse of Indian culture, African culture, African American. It's very diverse. So when I say multicultural here, everybody gets it. They immediately are like, "Oh, I need that."
Right.
Whereas, let's say in Oklahoma, when I say it, they just, they immediately think just black,
Right.
Black skin. And that's so not the truth. So that's kind of been the biggest eye opener because it's like I got here and everyone gets it.
Gotcha.
Like they get it. I don't even have to explain it.
When we had talks in the past, I remember you saying like it was hard to kind of educate Oklahomans on like being an esthetician, having a skincare clinic is more than just clearing up your face. You
Yes.
know, and I remember having those conversations with you when you were trying to find different ways to market and articulate
Yeah.
to these different type of markets about the education of
Right.
skincare. And I remember you saying it presented a lot of challenges when you were going into, you know, these new communities and trying to educate people on multi skincare, you know, when it comes to multicultural skincare, I
Mhm.
mean. So could you tell people, I don't know if it's a short version that you can tell, like
Mhm.
what could explain to people when you say you're the only multicultural skincare clinic in Oklahoma?
Mhm.
What separates you from the average skincare clinic with being multicultural?
So being multicultural focused basically means that we focus on skin that has melanin. It's a
Okay.
very diverse, and not just melanin, but really meaning that we treat all skin.
Uh-huh.
So in aesthetic school, you really only learn one type of skin type,
Okay.
really, and you don't really learn a lot of skin conditions.
Uh-huh.
And so when I put that multicultural focus on there was because I've been trained, and I have
Uh-huh.
also trained by team.
Uh-huh.
During that training, I learned how to treat in different from different treatments, more so advanced, like laser, chemical peels, correction,
Uh-huh.
based on every single culture there is. So from Asian, Middle Eastern,
Uh-huh.
black skin, mixed skin, Indian skin. You know, it if it has some form of melanin in
Uh-huh.
there, I've learned that.
Gotcha.
So I have taken that and have trained my team,
Uh-huh.
especially like when I did do the pivot,
Uh-huh.
they all know how to, which is one of the reasons why I have such a diverse team that works for me now, because they can understand it.
Uh-huh.
So,
That's cool. That's cool. So when it comes to the education of it, I know you say a lot of people don't get it, but how
mhm.
long did it take you to learn about like skincare, and how long have you been in this field of skincare? Because when I talk to you, you'll tell me some stuff about the skin. I'm like, I didn't even know, you know,
Mhm.
that I just thought you had to
Yeah.
put stuff on your face to clear it up. And then when you talk to me about it, you just always mention education. So how long did it take
Yeah.
you to obtain the information that you've been able to gather to open these clinics up in different, you know, states now,
Yeah.
and learn? Like, how long did it take you to
So
learn?
I've been an esthetician for 18 years.
Oh, okay.
And so in my probably first 5 years, I was just doing basic skincare that I learned from
Uh-huh.
school, but I knew that there was a missing component. And later on, I end up, fast forward, I end up learning, from finding a mentor. Education is huge.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of times the girls come out of school, girls and guys, because it's starting to be very diverse too. They think that just because they have their license and because they get a protocol book, they know how to treat skin.
Right.
And that's not how it works.
So that's why I asked you how long did it take you to learn?
It took a long time.
Right. So I asked that specific question
Mhm.
because I didn't ask you how long you've been in. I asked you how long it took you to learn,
Yeah.
because I see a pattern of a lot of estheticians that, you know, they get a certificate and then all of a sudden
Mhm.
they feel like they're overqualified to work on someone's
Yeah.
skin. So you're saying it took you 18 years, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 18 years in the making to,
Right.
you know, learn the
Mhm.
skill that you have to help multi, you know, culture
Yeah.
skin, you know, heal and develop in a
Mhm.
proper manner. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about that,
Yeah.
but I wanted to kind of take it back a little bit because you say 18 years, and a lot of times people may see you, Tiff, and they might have a misconception of who you are, right? And
Mhm.
we've talked about that before, you know, but you grew up on the east side of Oklahoma City.
I did.
Yeah, so a lot of,
Proud East Sider.
absolutely. So I wanted to kind of talk about, you know, I wanted to rewind back to like kind
Yeah.
of childhood and your teenage,
Yeah.
your adolescent years. Like, how was it growing up on the east side of Oklahoma City? What
Uh,
was your
I
experience, rather?
there was, I mean, there was, it had its challenges.
Mm-hmm.
My home, inside my home, was a different upbringing.
Gotcha.
What was outside. So
Gotcha.
like I couldn't talk slang, I couldn't listen to rap, I couldn't listen
And you going
to
to Douglas?
and I'm going to Douglas. So I was very upset with my parents because I'm like, pick what you wanted me to do. You need to put me in private school or
Yeah.
what? But
Right on.
one day I remember my freshman, I think it was probably the early time of my sophomore year. I just had decided like this is just who I am.
Absolutely.
And I accepted it, and from there, it made it so much easier. Kids would talk about the way I dressed or the way I talked, and I would try to fit in, and
Right.
then I'd be like borrowing clothes so I could dress like everybody else because my mom had me in all these
Mm-hmm.
preppy clothes. And then I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna be me. And
Absolutely.
after that day, I mean, all the other stuff was just kind of like whatever,
Absolutely.
you
So a
know.
lot of the times, if a person don't know you, they'll think that you was raised in this, white picket fence or something like that. But if somebody pays attention to you, Tiffany, you have an East Side hustle. When
Hey,
it comes
I
to
don't deny it.
your grit and your entrepreneurship, you can definitely tell,
Yeah.
that you were raised in an environment that was conducive of hustlers. So,
Well, and also I watch my family.
right.
I mean, my family background. My stepfather entrepreneur.
Hmm.
My biological dad's entrepreneur. I mean, different people in my family,
Hmm.
and now it's even gone on to the other generations, like my younger brother. I
Right.
mean, we all went to college, all of my siblings, but we still had this drive for entrepreneurship. But
Right.
I think it was embedded. My grandmother used to be on 10th and Jordan, and she would give away these buckets of plums to the neighbors,
Okay.
and I'm like, no, we need to sell that.
Right. Are you trying to sell them? You trying to
Yeah, I was
hustle?
trying to sell them,
Yeah.
and she was giving them away, and so I think it's just always been embedded.
Absolutely. And I say hustle because I've watched you from, shutting down the spa to,
Hmm.
opening up the skincare clinics. That takes a lot of grit and a
Yeah,
lot of hustle and grind.
yeah,
And I've watched you build these buildings from the ground up. And I wanted to mention kind of the childhood and where you grew up because, growing up on the east side of Oklahoma City is similar to growing up in Midwest City and Spencer.
that's
Like,
right.
regardless of whether you live in, what I'm saying, in
Yeah,
a kind of a controlled setting and you have chaos all outside the doors,
right.
it still breeds that. Like, I remember the guys that I went to school with and the girls, and a lot of us, we went on to do great things. But I'm like, I didn't know that I was walking those hallways with so many successful people. I mean, so
Yeah,
many hustlers, so many entrepreneurs,
yeah,
and people that will become successful. So, being from the east side, I'm sure gives you that sense of pride, and you represent that well.
yeah.
A lot of people may not know, what I'm saying, where you come from, but it's good that you never forgotten where you
Oh
came
no,
from.
no.
And I wanted to just kind of talk to you a little bit more about your mindset when it comes to business because, again, it takes a lot of guts and grit to say, hey, I'm going to, pack up my business and not only, start a new one, but I'm going to go to a
Yeah.
different state to start it. So
Mhm.
what gives you that mindset to say, hey, as a visionary to say, I feel like I can go to the market of Dallas and be just as successful as I can in Oklahoma. What's your mindset behind like your business and
Mhm.
your entrepreneur endeavors?
Well, let me say this first. It is scary. Um, but I believe in me and my work ethic. So I'm I know that I'm going to put in the work,
Absolutely.
and if I start to see it fail, I know when to stop. A lot of times people don't know when to stop. They
Mm-hmm.
keep going, they keep putting more investments into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I even told you years ago, your customers will tell you what they want.
Absolutely.
And sometimes people be like, "Oh no, this is a great idea. This is good. This is great." But
Right.
it might be great to you,
Right.
but it might not be great to the customer. And
Absolutely.
so, even with skincare, I knew that I was good at it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was my clients who told me that I was great at it.
Gotcha.
And so, when I took the pivot, to just do skincare, it was for several reasons. But I took the best of what I knew to do,
Mm.
and I wanted to dominate that area. And
Absolutely.
so from there, my education, I have over 5,000 hours of education just alone, just treating corrective skincare, from nutrition to treatments to devices. So it's not like I just decided, hey, I'm gonna be great at this. No, I actually studied,
Put in the time.
and I put in the time, and a lot of
Absolutely.
people don't. They
Right.
think, "Oh, I'm gonna watch YouTube. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
teach myself this." No, I've invested,
Right.
and so not only did I invest in the building and building this out, I've also invested in the education.
Absolutely.
So that's what you said. What sets me aside is
Right.
that, because I can sit with dermatologists, I can sit with
Mm-hmm.
other medical professionals, just being an esthetician, but I
Mm-hmm.
can talk on the same level.
Absolutely.
So with Oklahoma, our location is a referring clinic for OU dermatology.
Gotcha.
I mean, for a
Gotcha.
dermatologist
Yeah.
to send a person to my clinic, that's a big deal.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
for them to trust me with the care of their patients.
Absolutely. So I had mentioned kind of before we start talking about, where you were from and stuff, about the estheticians putting in those
Mhm.
hours and the work and the time and the education to really be able to
Mhm.
do, great things for people's skin. What some advice do you have to a young esthetician? Because I've seen younger women, they've
Mhm.
came to me for logos, and I've told them about you, and I
Yeah.
believe some of them have reached out to you, and you
Mhm.
had mentored and gave a few advice that I had did some
Mhm.
esthetician logos for. But what's some advice? Because I know, and the influence that you
Mhm.
have in the Oklahoma City community, especially amongst the women, and a young esthetician,
Mhm.
oh no, pretty much, you have the skincare clinic, and if we're just kind of talking, if a young esthetician will look at Lenox Skincare as somewhere that they want to be in the future, like if I could start as an esthetician and own multi skincare clinics in different states, I want to
Mhm.
do that. What's some advice would you give to a young esthetician that has those ambitions and goals?
Education. I think a lot of times now, people are looking ways to be able to make quick money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the misconception from Facebook and, all these different social media platforms,
Mm-hmm.
it looks cute.
Absolutely.
It's like, let me take a picture, let me post it, it looks fun. But a lot
Mm-hmm.
of these girls are hurting financially. They
Mm-hmm.
really aren't able to maintain what they need to sustain in this field.
Mm-hmm.
Just even having the products. I mean, these are retail products, but like your back bar products, you really need a good $5,000 to $10,000 to invest in just your back bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to see when girls post and I see CeraVe or products that you can buy at Sephora. I hear clients come in, hey, I was going this place and they were using stuff I could buy at Sephora.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to take the time to invest. But not only that, you got to educate yourself. So I
Right.
do have a lot of girls that reach out to me that want mentorship. Or they want to come and work.
Mm-hmm.
However, we are an advanced clinic.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing before the girl even gets to me, they have gone through three other people to be able to get an interview.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they haven't invested in the education and they are just at the very bottom of education,
Mm-hmm.
they're probably not going to get a chance to work at Lenox Skincare.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know recently we just kind of changed some of our, like, if we do deny someone, that we give them advice.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first, I was like, no, they probably won't make it. Or even the man, sometimes I don't even know that they haven't even made it to the next level.
Right.
But they need to invest because my clients to eat them up.
Right.
They don't want spa facials.
Right.
They want to come in. These are judges, attorneys, and they're well educated
Right.
on skin, so they
Right.
know what they're looking for. And if you're coming in spending almost $200 on a facial, you gonna want somebody to know what they're doing.
Right.
And so I think that the pictures and the fun and thinking they're gonna make money and it's I think they've taken it to a whole nother level
Right.
because the passion. I don't always hear the passion. They be like, "Oh, I love doing skincare. I like makeup, or it seems fun. I'm a product junkie." I wasn't a product junkie.
Right.
I love problem solving. I loved anatomy. I love science. I love chemistry. That's why I like
Right.
skincare,
Absolutely.
not because I loved makeup. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't even into makeup. I don't
Right.
even do. I mean, wear very little makeup,
Right.
but they have to be more. It has to be more than just that because I'm a counselor. I'm a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to know there's other things besides liking skin and skincare
Right.
products.
So when you started as an esthetician, of course, you said 18 years ago, social media and like you said,
Hmm.
all the fanfare of going viral, and you may
Yeah.
not even be, quote unquote, a good esthetician, but
Hmm.
if your look, your ambiance is right, if you do the right
Yeah.
thing, you got a million people to see, and now all of a sudden your books is filled, but you don't have the education to
And
really
you don't
help
know what
those
you're doing.
people. So tell me, like, what are some things you do when you do see that? Because obviously the internet is a young man and a young woman's sport, so
Yes.
it's not really made for anybody who kind of grew up in this is, what is this, generation Z, as they calling
Yeah.
them,
I don't know. I lost count.
right? So we grew up in the 80s and 90s, and
Yeah.
we coming into entrepreneurship, the
Hmm.
internet wasn't what it was now. So
Yeah.
what are some of the things as you had to transition from? Probably, I remember when I first met you, you used to do mailers, you used to do radio a lot,
TV, print.
and yeah, and ain't it amazing how fast everything changed? Probably within 5 years.
I lost count. I mean, it was so fast
Right.
that it just like it came like it's like taking a rug and
So yeah,
from up
I guess
underneath.
my question was, How have you been able to transition in marketing, realizing that everything is going to the internet and social media?
You know, even when I had the spa, like I was kind of avoiding it
Hmm.
at that point because I was like, oh, it wasn't a big deal. But if I look back, if I really would have took the advice when it first started to take off,
Hmm.
I probably would have had a leg up.
Right.
If I really would have took it on. I look back and see some of my lives that I used to do,
Right.
and I was like, dang, if I just would have kept that up, and
Hmm.
you know, but um, but how I've been able to keep up is more so my work.
Hmm.
I mean, is word of mouth. I've been pretty lucky,
Hmm.
to be able to keep the word of mouth going
Hmm.
be through my own results
Hmm.
that I give. We are very results driven, so it kind of speaks for itself. But social media, I mean, I see young girls. I was watching a girl that I follow. She has like 33,000 followers.
Hmm.
She just started a few years ago, and everything in her videos is aesthetics.
Hmm.
I mean, like it's pretty, the
Hmm.
colors, the sound, everything looks great.
Hmm.
But I haven't seen any pictures of her correcting skin.
Hmm.
And she had all these girls ask for training.
Hmm.
I was like, what evidence
But see, that's the
has
trick.
she done?
That's the trick of the internet because it puts you on a platform that will catapult you so fast that
Yes.
her education might not be able to even catch up with,
Mm-mm.
the fanfare of going
Mm-mm.
viral and getting so many people to see what you're doing. And
Yeah.
a lot of the times when that many people see what you're doing, they don't even care if you can do it good or
No.
not. They just assume that you can do it good because a lot of people is watching it.
She hosted a class and people started signing up, and I was like, this girl don't she hasn't you have to see enough faces,
Hmm.
which is how I train my girls when they come in. They usually prep for me,
Right.
and after they prep, I ask them questions like, what did you see, so they can gain their eye. When someone come out of school, they don't have an eye yet.
Right. I was gonna say that. I didn't mean to cut you off, Tiff, but I was gonna say that because when I'm hearing you talk, I've had these conversations with you
Hmm.
before about skincare. But when we have these conversations, I'm so enlightened and educated. I just realized the lack of information and education that we have in the Black community
Oh yes.
about skincare because
Yes.
we all go through puberty, and I remember having bumps on my face going through puberty,
Hmm.
and then sometimes I have eczema as well, so
Yeah.
just my skin being bad in different seasons, what I'm saying, in different times of my life. Like, what are some things? I don't know, I'm sure that it would take a lot more than just a few words, but what's some
Hmm.
things you can educate us as Black people on our skin, like, and
Hmm.
somebody who will see this who really don't even pay attention to their skin like that. Is
Yeah.
this something that you can say that can, make somebody at least invoke a thought to want to know more information about
Yeah.
skincare? Because when I hear you talk and being around you and learning about, facials and stuff, as a
Hmm.
man, I didn't know what a facial was till I was
Yeah.
grown.
Yeah.
So, is it anything that you can say to somebody looking that might see this interview and they never had their skin treated, like
Mhm.
that? Why it's important to take care of your skin?
So skincare, I feel like the social media has made it like it's a luxury or it's a self care, and
Mhm.
it's not. It's a necessity.
Mhm.
It's just like going to get your teeth clean.
Mhm.
It's just like going to the doctor for a checkup. It's not, especially if you go into someone like
Mhm.
my clinics. Because we can identify skin cancer, we can identify skin rashes or
Mhm.
things before they get,
Right.
out of control.
Right.
We had a young man who came in with a rash on his head. Well, come to find out later on that it was more than just that.
Oh.
And in our culture, especially when you're talking about melanated skin, we are actually at a high rate of skin cancer, but it's not talked about because by the time that it's detected, it has
Right.
already metastasized to
Mhm.
another organ in our body.
Oh wow.
So it starts from the skin, but it's never it's the studies aren't going to show it, but
Right.
it might have started from the skin and
Mhm.
now it's in the bone or it's
Right.
somewhere else because it's bypassed the
So
skin.
you basically saying it can be prevented, by
Yes,
treating it
but
sooner.
that's
Yeah.
correct. And so, I mean, we can look back at, statistics when it comes to, especially just African Americans, how often we actually go to the doctor.
Mhm.
So imagine not going and being and having things detected sooner. So
Absolutely.
skincare is really a necessity. People look at it, they don't want to necessarily make the investment,
Hmm.
but it is necessary, especially kids with, acne. If you
Absolutely.
have pigmentation, most people have so much sun damage that they don't even realize that they have texture on their skin.
This is just a question I have. Like,
Hmm.
why do we get bumps and stuff going through puberty? Like, why does our skin act up?
Hormones.
The hormones make
Hmm.
it do that. Okay.
Yeah, hormones get out of whack, so it throws the body into a shift
Do you
of
treat a lot
purging.
of teenagers for that?
We do. A lot of our teenagers are athletes,
Oh,
so
okay.
the parents, we don't
Sweating all the
really
time and dirty.
sweating,
Yeah.
not cleaning their skin,
Right.
and so we teach them how to still be a good athlete and be able to take care of their skin.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's probably limitless information on
Oh yeah,
skincare, but
but the biggest thing I tell people is that people ask me all the time, well, how long is it gonna take?
right.
Well, it really depends. And there's your metabolism, how well you're going to do what I tell you to do. People want to put a limit on it, and it's really
Mhm.
not. Like once you start skincare, it's like it's a necessity. It's one of those things
You
that you
said that,
continue.
and when we had a conversation a while back, you were saying that a lot of people want to come in
Oh yeah,
instantly. Their skin is clear. Like it's a process, right?
it's a process. I shared a video of a young lady that we've been working on her skin for several years now,
Uh-huh.
and I mean her skin is almost flawless at this point. But she had severe acne, and she showed a picture like where she was like
Uh-huh.
a little girl with like really bad acne already.
Right.
So imagine all those years
Right.
of acne and just damage to the skin, picking and
Right.
scars. To look at her skin now, to walk around, she's a model now, and it didn't take a quick peel or a quick treatment to get her there.
It was
It
a
took a
process.
commitment and a process, because now we were learning her body and learning her habits and her lifestyle, and she
Absolutely.
made a conscious effort to make those changes. A lot of people want the results, but they're not willing to put the work in, and that's the sad part.
Yeah, that's life
Because
though.
it's true, but it's like we'll get so close and they'll just stop, or they get, they be like, oh, they're thinking about the money. But this is the deal, especially women that are my age, they're gonna tackle this later, and it's gonna be so much more,
Because it's so much more damage that
because
will
it's so much more
build
damage.
up, right?
It's so much more. It doesn't change it. I mean, I face different laser treatments,
Mm.
facelifts. I had a woman, she had been getting facials for 20 years, once a month,
Mm.
and I could literally tell.
Wow.
And it made such a difference in her skin, her elasticity, the way, the tone, the texture. I mean, it looked amazing. But people think that this is just something fun to do, or I'm gonna do it every
Right.
now and then, or I'm gonna do a few treatments and
Right.
get corrected, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do something else.
So it
But
don't
I'm
work like
like, if
that, huh?
you carrying a $4,000 bag and your face isn't
Uh-oh.
isn't where it needs to be,
Uh-oh.
and I'm not really
Them fighting
saying
words,
it,
Tiff. You better calm
but I'm
down now.
saying take that investment. No, I'm serious. Take that investment, clear the skin, then go buy the bag.
Yeah.
Because
That only makes sense.
it only makes sense.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when people talk about, your health.
Right.
You buy a $4,000 bag, but your health is not good.
That's a
It
message for somebody.
Yes, but I see it. And so if you just take the time and prioritize the things that are important, people think, oh, I'm paying Tiff this big money,
Hmm.
but really you're not. I'm not even charging what I should be charging,
Right.
in Oklahoma. But
It just
I
sounds like
want to help.
the lack of education is
It
what's
is.
stopping people. And I know you always trying to articulate ways in your marketing, because we know now in the state of marketing you have to be educating,
Yes.
informing, or doing some a call to action that's going to pull someone into your business.
Right.
Now, I mean, I've watched you push this envelope like many times, from the spa I met you at to multiple skincare clinics. Like, being in Dallas now, what's your ultimate goal, in the skincare world to fulfill? What's your vision for your future in the skincare clinic? I'm sure you want to open more locations, but
Yeah.
is it a bigger goal to, the overall plan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting older. So it's really to bring people, that I can educate. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's at that point now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really. I'm only going to be behind the chair for so long. So my goal is to really be that footprint. I mean, I was the only person who was hiring blacks estheticians in Oklahoma, and they were only working front desk or they were doing makeup. So, I've already kind of made that footprint and showed, that it can be done. So my goal is just to pull some young ladies that are, passionate, that really want to grow and teach them, and, but also to grow my line and to be bigger. And I have a back bar line that eventually will come out for that I could sell to other estheticians. So, going on the other side of it,
Right.
with teaching and training and being able to provide on a larger scale my skincare line to the consumer.
Have you ever considered opening up a school for estheticians?
I had thought about it for Oklahoma, but I felt like there was still more work to teach in the multicultural realm of being able to provide for the consumer, to educate them so that you can provide
Right.
enough, because right now there's only 1% of blacks in this industry still.
Wow.
So we have a long way to go, and we have a lot of education, and that's why I push education, because there's not enough. Right now, there's a young lady that posted from being laser, one of the most popular lasers that the Kim Kardashian family has promoted, and
It messed up her skin.
it messed up. It was a laser. So it just shows that we still have so far to go to educate, in i.e. this.
So you don't essentially want to be teaching something you still learning.
Well, no, there's such a
It's
consumer
so broad.
side.
Right.
Yeah, because I can go open up a school, but we still got consumers that we need to educate.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying? Because you got all these facilities that are offering all these services that they have lack of knowledge.
Right.
So we gotta educate and get, like, my facilities.
Absolutely.
I mean, not that I'm the only, especially like here in Texas, they may not have niched their practice, probably for the fear of being stuck in a box. But
Absolutely.
that's the fear that I mean, that's the risk I take.
I totally understand that. So I said when I was doing my intro that you're a staple in the Oklahoma City community because I know a lot of the great things you have been able to accomplish, not only in business, but just some of your community work, your Delta, into Langston.
Yes.
So, a homegrown girl, and a lot of people that know you has a lot of respect for you, understand, your track record, your resume, and a lot of people look up to you in that community, not only women, but men alike. I wanted you to just talk about, as a leader of the community, what are some of the things and what is some of the advice you would give someone that may look at you and say, man, Tiffany, like, look so cool. She's opening up all of these, skincare clinics. What's some advice you would give to, someone in our community, in the Oklahoma City community that may know you? And, I really want you to speak to the women because as a man, I got this platform and I'm making sure that, I get some interviews with some women that I really respect and know that people respect in our community. So I just wanted to ask you to give, some people advice, whether it's even in business, because like I said, outside of business, you are a great person as well. So just someone in our community who's looking at us, as entrepreneurs, and they may say, wow, y'all successful. Like, I want to be like that. What's some advice would you give them?
To stay really consistency. I've tried to stay consistent with everything that I've done. I don't shift with the wind. That's the one thing, sticking to what you know. That would definitely be the biggest advice. And don't be afraid to stop and educate yourself, or to stop and pivot like I did. I still stayed in the same industry, but like I said, I figured out what I was good at and what I could do. But there was a lot of sacrifice in there. I mean, I've never had children. I've been very career oriented. I've invested a lot into my business. So I've given up a lot. I don't spend as much time with my family as I would like. I don't get to do a lot of the things that people think. Like, I may post on social media, like I'm really living this, like, I'm partying all the time, but I'm really a social introvert and
Mhm.
I'm really not out there like that.
Yeah,
But I mean, I do the things I need to do, to
absolutely.
keep social media going. So I share a little bit of my life,
Hmm.
but for the most part, I work a lot,
Absolutely.
so when you work, you got to put in that work
Hmm.
to receive it. I
Absolutely.
think I've probably made it look easy,
Hmm.
but I've lost a lot. I've
Absolutely.
lost a lot. I've lost a lot more than I've gained over the years. I've gained more now. I gained more wisdom. I've gained, um, you know, I've been able to give back more.
Mhm.
And now I'm at a place where it's a different road. But in the
Absolutely.
beginning, oh man, it was hard. It was
Yeah.
tough.
I know some of those lessons because, starting my business, I
Yeah.
remember like spending thousands of dollars just doing stuff the wrong way. Like
Hmm.
I was paying $5 extra for shipping because I didn't know how to click a button at the
Yeah.
beginning of Trap Spelling Bee. So I
Hmm.
can totally attest for that.
Yeah.
But having this interview with you, Tiff, I take this time to give people their flowers that, I build relationships with. And I remember being a young designer, not really knowing much. And I remember that first time I came to Nichols Hills, to your spot. I was intimidated because it looked so nice. And I'm like, I don't know if I can make designs that can live up to that. But one thing I wanted to always, thank you for, and I'll do
Yeah.
it on camera, is for taking that chance on me to say, hey, I know you probably could afford, the top marketers of that time years
Yeah.
ago. But you took a chance and it gave me a lot of confidence as a graphic designer to be designing for you. And when I came in, I didn't know what to expect, but you embraced me. You gave me that confidence. I know you trusted me with your brand. So I always wanted to thank you for that, and I appreciate that. And just watching you grow as an entrepreneur has been phenomenal. Just to see you fierce in your approach. Don't let the cute face fool y'all. She gets the job done. And when you say you sacrificed a lot,
Yeah.
I can honestly say that, since I've been, working with you and knowing you, I've watched a lot of those sacrifices,
Yeah.
you have made. And I just commend you for, always kind of keep going because dealing with health issues at
Yeah.
times, dealing with personal issues, you've always just kept going. So I just wanted to commend your perseverance, tell you thank you for being a friend of mine, taking time out your busy schedule to let me and my team come get some content for you as well as the interview.
Yeah.
And I'm just wishing you much, much success in the
Thank you.
future and keep pushing that envelope further because whether you know it or not, you motivate me. When I had kind of blew up with Trap Spelling Bee, you were someone who always supported. You came to game nights to help me get footage and
Yeah.
everything. And I just appreciate your support for me as well. And I just want you to know that you will always have my support. And anytime you need anything as far as business or anything, just give me a call and I got you. But I'm glad we got to do the interview. I'm glad I'm able to come out to Dallas. I'm probably one of the first from the city to see it, right?
One of you. Well, I had some contractors come in from the city,
Okay,
but yeah.
so if you in Oklahoma and you watching this interview, make sure when you in the Dallas Plano
Yes.
area, you
Yes.
you you holler, set up an appointment, and if you know a lot of people, because I know a lot of people coming to that Castle Spa, and no shade to nobody, but if you can come down here and sit in that dirty water and drink,
Right.
if you can come sit in that dirty water and drink, you can come and support a fellow Oklahoman and
Yeah.
get your skin right. But
Yeah.
Tiffany, wishing you much, much success with the new location, even more success, continued
Yeah.
success in the city, and
Yeah.
just keep pushing that envelope. And you have a lot of young women that follow you.
Yeah.
Like I said in passing, when people find out I know you and I do business with you, I've heard young women, I just look up to her. She's so beautiful. Like she's so nice. Like I just wish, I know you know that. And I just ask you just keep
Yeah.
on empowering and influencing our community in a positive way. Keep pushing that
Yeah.
envelope forward because to know that you come from the east side of Oklahoma City, Douglas High School, grew up right there in the heart of Oklahoma City, and you made many, many things happen, not only for yourself, but you have employed people in our community, you
Yeah.
have put people in positions, and a lot of people have learned up under you to be able
Yes.
to do what you do. So thank you. As
Yeah.
a community, I'll thank you and just keep pushing,
Yeah. Well, thank you, because proud of you. I mean,
Thank
from
you.
the time that we met, watching you build and grow, and
Absolutely.
you know, even the times that we done sat and had sessions, just
Right.
bouncing things off each
Bouncing
other,
ideas.
you know, bouncing ideas, and you know, I'm sharing my ideas. I thank you because you've always been real. I feel like I've been the same to
Absolutely.
you.
Hey, and you know what? I ain't gonna even lie to you. When I first met you, I didn't know you would be as down to earth as you was, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people might have that misconception of you. You know, they might think you stuck up.
And I'm
But
not
but
so far from
but
it.
Tiffany is so cool, so down to earth. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta just, you know, say something to her if you see her, and I'm sure she'll, you know, show you some love.
Yeah.
But thank you, Tiffany.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna keep you no longer. We gonna get back
Thank
to
you.
Oklahoma. You enjoy this Plano area, this Dallas area. Y'all make sure y'all tell y'all friends in Texas, right here in the Dallas Fort Worth area, to make sure they check it out. Now, Tiffany, how can people get in contact with you if they want to, you know, come to Lenox Skincare?
So, of course, you can locate each location on our website at Lenox Skincare. That's with one N.
Okay.
LenoxSkincare.com. We have Oklahoma City and Oklahoma City and Plano, Texas available. Each location has its own phone number, but you can definitely contact us there.
I'll put all your contact information on the
And
screen.
of course, on social media, we're there. Lenox OKC and Lenox Texas.
You just got too many. You got too many buildings now. You can't keep up.
I know. I'm like, I can't give you no phone number because I don't
can't keep up. You got too many buildings. But I'll put all your information on the screen.
But Lenox Skincare, make sure you come and get Lenox. It's an experience, and we are results driven. So if you want a safe place to clear your skin or just to have beautiful skin, come to Lenox.
Well, y'all heard what the woman said. Come to Lenox Skincare, get your skin taken care of. Yeah. Tiffany, thank you. And y'all, we'll see y'all later. Peace. I like to do hood rash with my friends.